Hey, what's going on everyone? This is iReviews back with another video, and today I will show you guys 10 iPhone features that I believe iPhone users should just stop using right away. Now, most of these will actually do more harm than good to your device, and a few of them are even useless, and of course in most cases you don't actually need to have those features and use those features on your device. But a feature that you actually need to use right now is the like button on this video. That of course helps out a lot, so if you enjoy the video and the content of this channel, make sure you leave a like on this video. I would really appreciate it. And now let's go ahead and take a look at 10 features that I believe iPhone users should stop using immediately. Alright, the first of them is a feature that can be found under accessibility. You go right here and you will find sound recognition. This is a new feature that had been added on iOS 14. Now what actually does, it will just listen for sounds, and once it finds, basically it recognizes a sound that you have enabled, it will give you a notification. In most cases this will be useless. Now you can see what it says right here. Your iPhone will continuously listen for certain sounds. So your iPhone will be always active. That requires CPU power and battery as well. That's keeping your iPhone always active in the background listening for those sounds. And you can go to sounds right here now. If you actually really need to use this feature, make sure that you only enable the sound that you actually need to. So let's say here we have sounds, maybe crying baby, you have a baby at home, you need this, you enable it right there. Don't use the other sounds that you will probably never even need, because your iPhone will actually be listening all the time and a lot of times even send you false notifications. So always make sure that you only use this feature when you need it, because if you just leave it enabled and you enable a ton of sounds, it will do more harm than good to your device. Moving on under the privacy section, so if you go to privacy and you go to location services, lower here you will find system services. Now when you go here, you will find a section right here that says significant locations. So let's go here once. And what you will find here is basically the location that you visit the most or stay at the most. This will actually leave a record of them right here. So you can see what it says here. So in order to provide like useful location related information, your iPhone will keep track of the location you visit the most. But basically this will just keep track of locations and show a list here where you have been the most. So let's say you maybe lost your iPhone, or someone gets their hands on your iPhone and they are able to get on this section, they will know all that information for you. You don't need to know your significant locations. Probably everyone remembers the locations where they go at or stay at the most, so you don't actually need this. And of course it also requires a lot of CPU power and battery as well, as it's using your location all the time in the background. So in my opinion, the best thing is to turn this completely off. Next up, we're moving to the Safari settings. So go to your settings app, go to Safari, and you will have downloads right here. Now you will have an option to download stuff on the iCloud Drive. Now most people will actually have the free account on iCloud with only 5 gigs, and of course you probably keep that for your apps, documents, and of course maybe your photos or something like that. If you enable this and have stuff that you download through Safari saved on iCloud, that space will be taken really quickly. You download something like 500 megabytes or 1 gig, that space will just go right away out of use, because it will be of course used by the downloads. So the way I prefer to do this, and I think every iPhone user should, go ahead and download your stuff right on your iPhone, save them locally on your iPhone. Of course if you need something to have on the other devices, you can always move them to your other devices. No need to have all your downloads saved onto iCloud. Of course, one of the most important things on your iPhone is storage. You want to have as much free storage as possible, of course, to have photos, videos, apps, anything else that you need on your iPhone. That storage will be taken away really quickly if you shoot 4K videos on your iPhone. Go to the cameras right here and you can see I have record video at 1080p 60 frames per second. That will be of course much lower in size than using 4K. So I shoot videos on my iPhone, I only watch them on the iPhone, and very rarely you get your hands on a 4K maybe TV or something and you play those videos on that TV or any other monitor. You'll most of the time, like 99% of the time, watch them on your iPhone. As you know, iPhone doesn't have a 4K screen, so you will basically shoot a video on 4K but won't watch it on 4K. You can shoot in 4K all the time, you won't watch the video in 4K on your iPhone. You can see the resolutions right here. So right now I shoot at 1080p at 60 frames per second, and that comes at about 175 megabytes per minute. And then you can see right here, if you shoot at 4K 60 frames per second, that will be 400 megabytes. So more than double the size of the video if you shoot in 4K 60 frames per second. So always make sure that you use a low resolution, of course, if you intend to just watch those videos on your iPhone or just use them to share them on your social media. Another really useless iPhone feature is the hidden Photos album on the Photos app. Those are not actually hidden. You have the album there, and anyone who gets their hands on your iPhone can have access to those photos. But there is a new feature, of course, that lets you hide that album. You go here, simply disable that, and there it goes. Now it has been basically removed, and the photos are still hidden, but the album doesn't show there. Anyone, probably 90% of the people that have an iPhone, know that they can actually enable that album from the settings. So it's just one other step away from getting access to your hidden photos, and there it is, there is the album. So if you really want to hide a picture, don't do it this way. It's probably useless. Most people will know how to enable that album and where to find those hidden pictures. On the other hand, there is a more useful and of course a much better way to actually hide a picture that you really want to hide on your iPhone. Just copy the picture and then just go ahead and paste it right here on the Notes app. Go ahead and just delete that picture from the Photos album, and then from here what you can do is lock the note and you're good to go. You can lock the note with a passcode or Face ID and you will be able to actually have that photo hidden and locked on your iPhone and have access to it whenever you want. Now with iOS 14, Apple had introduced the home screen widgets. Now of course, having one like this that shows the battery percentage all the time of your iPhone and other devices on your home screen is okay, and of course, even though you cannot do much more with it, like tapping on it to go to the battery settings, or maybe allowing you to enable or disable low power mode or stuff like that, that would be much better, but it's still okay. But there are a lot of widgets that you shouldn't use. Like most people, when they get a new iPhone, by default you will have a ton of widgets enabled here. Widgets like the stocks one, the news one, or the tips one, these will require internet connection, battery, and CPU power all the time to run, and they get updated a lot, so they will consume a lot of data and of course battery on your iPhone. So if you have widgets that you don't actually use, make sure that you always have them disabled, especially on this part right here. Like you might have a weather widget on the home screen and still have another one here. Make sure you disable that, because once like this, like the weather widget is also using your location, that requires even more battery power and CPU power. That way it's doing a lot of harm to your device and the everyday experience while using your iPhone. So make sure you disable the widgets that you're not actually using, or if you have widgets here that you just leave them there and not even use them, make sure you always disable them. On your iPhone, when you go to the Settings app and go to Face ID and Passcode, right here you will find all these features. So today's view and search, notification center, control center, Siri, reply with message, then you will have here return missed calls. All of these can be used on your device by not entering Face ID or Passcode. So anyone who gets their hands on your iPhone will be able to do any of these things without a passcode and without Face ID. Of course, you don't want them. Why would you want these enabled on your device? So what you need to do is go ahead and disable these. You will have these enabled on your device by default. So make sure you go ahead, check the list here and disable all that you think is of course good to disable, and you don't want people to have access to be able to maybe return a missed call or respond to someone with a message without unlocking the device. That of course can be really risky, so make sure you have these disabled. When you go to the settings of your podcast app, you will find here a feature that says download when saving. So anytime you have saved an episode to listen to maybe later, that will be downloaded on your device. Those podcasts will take a lot of space on your device. That's a useless feature. Nowadays, most people have unlimited data plans and they have Wi-Fi and stuff, so you probably don't need to have these saved locally. They actually take a lot of space. If you save like 10 podcast episodes, those probably will take 2 or 3 gigs or even more on your device. So make sure you have that disabled right here. And you will also have here Cellular auto downloads, so it will automatically download episodes over Cellular. So if your plan is limited, then that will be even worse. It will take a lot of data out of your plan, so make sure you check these and have these disabled. If you go to your settings app, go under accessibility and go to Siri right here, you will have a feature to always listen for the hey word. That is really bad. Not it will just like launch Siri probably a lot of the time without even you wanting to do that, but it will also require a lot of CPU power and battery power because it's always active in the background. Now what this means is that Siri will be listening, your iPhone will be listening for the hey word even though your iPhone might be in your pocket or face down on the table. That will keep it always active. I don't think most people will need that feature, so the best practice is to turn it completely off. And last but not least, going to the App Store settings right here, you will have video autoplay. So anytime you're browsing the App Store, you will have videos auto-playing all the time. So if you're using cellular data and you have a limited plan, those videos of course will consume a lot of data. You will find the same on the settings of iMessage. You will have the autoplay feature for videos that you get on your iMessage. So if your plan is limited, you don't have a lot of data left, this will take quite a lot of data out of your device, so make sure you have this disabled as well. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. These are 10 iPhone features that I believe most users should stop using immediately. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go ahead and subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the next one.